IP and amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I meet you.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
You know, I don't like giving Terrence credit, but he has said from the mountaintops, he has been screaming to not do this movie. And I get it.
And my other guest, Tiara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tiara. I guess I'll give my thoughts soon.
Yeah. You're just going right off the top.
Worry. You're going first.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to go first.
No.
I would actually prefer to go last.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Men first.
I'm sorry. She loved it.
Yeah. Misogynistic much?
Males first.
Wow. That feels misogynistic, but okay.
Sounds like you really took this movie to heart. You took the lessons of this movie to heart.
Whew, there are lessons. All right. Well, we are back. This is episode 198 for Color Girls. Look, for longtime listeners, this is the yearly Tyler Perry movie. So for all the messages we get, when y'all going to do one? You got to do, Daddy's Little Girls or Mr. Deeds or whatever other movies there are. I don't even know how many are left. We try desperately to avoid the Medea ones. We've landed on this one for Color Girls. And like Micah said, Terrence has long said that he would not be on the episode when we did this show. And he is a man of his word. So he is not here. I'll give my thoughts first, I guess, because we obviously, since this is a very Black woman-centric movie, I think it's important that we lean heavily on our Black female co-host. Mute her mic. We will get to you. No, but in all seriousness, look, I thought it was, obviously this is a story that is a love letter to Black women. And sort of the struggles that Black women go through. And it puts them all on Front Street. And I think it does a really good job in taking serious things like, betrayal and rape and abortion and, family issues. And I thought those were really powerful elements of the play. This movie, however, is an adaptation of said play and the poems that it's based on. And this movie is a piece of garbage. It's not very good. It took what clearly is very good storytelling through poems and bastardized it into general Tyler Perry melodramatic nonsense. No, not a fan. This is I don't know what score I'll give it. Probably a 0, but maybe slightly better than that. It's a bad movie with a couple of moments of like an amazing series of poems, and that's it. The performances are good because they're performing based on the stuff in the poems, but the stuff outside of the poems, no, it's bad. It's real bad. So I did like the performances for that, but otherwise, no, it's a classic Tyler Perry terrible film. Micah?
It's what is the saying? That something is greater than the sum of its parts, meaning that as a whole, the thing is good, even though the elements that make it up aren't. This is the opposite. This is the whole is not that great, but individual elements of this film are very good. The cast, it's an all-star cast. And they do a good job with the material that they're given. I wouldn't quite call this a love letter. I would say more of this is just kind of like it's just discussions that aren't had, especially through the lens of the Black woman. And it is, white women talk about this stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what white women do, right? I presume that they are a little more open, talking about things like this, but nobody gives a fuck about Black women. So none of this stuff gets talked about.
Right.
And for this movie to be able to bring stuff like this to light is important, I think. And then you get to the Tyler Perry stuff, and this film is proudly shown as the last credit in the opening title sequence, written and adapted for the screen, directed and produced by Tyler Perry. So this movie felt like you have these beautiful poems read by these incredible actors who, and the style of words that they're saying is 180 degrees from all the other stuff in the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't fit at all.
It doesn't flow. And I don't mind adaptations of stage plays into film. I don't mind if they feel like a play, right? Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and Fences, they feel like plays filmed, right? This is trying to have the flow and production of a narrative written for a movie while still having the spotlight scene, the soliloquies,
right,
which makes it feel like a play. And it doesn't gel.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think it's because in the hands of Tyler Perry it doesn't flow, or does that style not work at all, you think?
No, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it. Pick a lane. Do it like a script for a movie.
No, I'm saying, do you think you can pull off the mix? Like, in the hands of a better director, you think you could pull that mix off that he tried to do?
I don't know. I think your story is better served one or the other. But I don't know of any other examples to compare it to.
Okay, that's fair.
I just know that this just didn't feel right to me. And I'll let Tiara say her. Well, I'll let Tiara say her piece.
Thank you, Black man.
There's some interesting.
Call her a queen, and then we can move on.
There's some interesting bit of trivia on the production, which I'm like, wow, like wow. So anyway, you are allowed to speak, woman, because I am a man and I have dominion over you because Whoopi Goldberg, who believes in, God, says so.
Well, Micah, I would like to say thank you for giving me the choice, unlike what's his name from Power, who felt like he had no choices over his actions this film.
Oh, Amari Hardwick?
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree with what Michael was saying about how for me, the poems that were spoken during this movie were some of the worst parts for me.
Oh, really? You're not feeling that at all?
It just felt so out of place. It felt so random. It felt like it felt at least like these characters were in the middle of a normal conversation, like Thandiwe Newton's character and Whoopi Goldberg's character, and then they just start reciting the poems, and I'm like, where is the transition from this to this? And I don't know, Jay, to answer your question that you asked Micah, if this is mainly because it's Tyler Perry who was writing it. Part of me does feel if this were in the hands of a better writer, the more poetic aspects from the source material would have flowed a little bit better here. But I saw this movie in theaters when it first came out.
Oh.
When I was a ripe old 19 years old, a year into my very natural hair journey, thought I was.
I'm surprised you didn't change your name.
Yeah. She was like, I'm Lady in Red. Like, relax.
I gotta be her.
Oh, sorry. See? See, and like that works so much better when you realize like he reused that same storyline in a later movie that he did. Like, isn't that kind of weird?
Which movie?
What's the Marriage Counselor? Like, it's the same ending, right? Like,
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. She
gets HIV.
Journey Smollett got HIV.
Oh, Temptation.
Yeah, Temptation of a Marriage Counselor.
Okay. But yeah, I saw this in theaters, and when I saw it, I was with the crowd, like, yes, honey. This was amazing. Tyler Perry's best film. A whole 10 years later, I was watching it. And I was like outside of the cast, and I thought the cast did an excellent job. Like, how could they not, with the exception of one person whose performance I thought was over the top, Thandiwe Newton's.
That role was supposed to go to Mariah Carey.
No, it went to the right person.
So be thankful for what you got.
Yeah, nah, you'll relax. Wow.
I think honestly, I think if you had a worse cast, I probably would have disliked it more. But I didn't hate it. It's just not. It doesn't piece together very well, and it felt like the way that some of these major characters came together felt a little bit forced to me. Yeah. And then of course there were some moments that were triggering, and also for people who haven't seen this movie, trigger warning for sexual assault, because that part, it wasn't easy to watch in theaters, but it was even harder for me to watch this time around. It was just, I don't know, it felt a little gratuitous to me in that sense too.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I have a profound amount of anger towards that scene from just the way it's handled. I hate it so much. We'll talk about it, but yeah, I was not a fan of that scene at all.
Also, Tessa Thompson, I forgot she was in this movie.
I didn't know
and
that.
When I was watching, I was like, I feel like this is probably one of her best performances, which I don't know what that says.
Did you ever see Mississippi Damned?
No.
She was really good in that. She's really good in that. It's like, if you think this movie's depressing, you ain't seen nothing.
No.
Mississippi Damned.
I've heard it's depressing. I'm good.
Yo, Mississippi Damned. I watched that at 10 o'clock in the morning before we did an episode, and I'm like, why am I crying so early in the goddamn morning? It's a rough watch. Like, it just does.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Thandiwe Newton anymore. I forgot that she told everyone. How do you say her name?
I think it's Thandiwe.
Thandiwe. Okay.
Yeah.
Thandiwe Newton.
Yeah, she went back and embraced her full first name. Good for her.
Good for her. Yeah.
Middle name.
Oh, it's her middle name?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just the traditional spelling. She didn't,
okay.
anglicize it.
Yeah. Good.
I guess if I had to give it a rating out of 5, I'd probably give it a 2. Maybe for the performances. I thought the performance was really strong. Yeah.
I feel like the reason they got the cast they got is because they were like, this is based on the play that it is, and people are like, oh, that play is amazing, and this is really telling the story. And then once they sign the contracts, they're like, by the way, Tyler Perry is going to be doing this. They're like, I'm already in. God damn it.
So on March 25th, 2009, the film industry magazine Variety reported that Nzinga Stewart, a black female director, had acquired the feature film rights for Colored Girls. She had acquired the film rights for the book from the original author, and that Lionsgate had signed Stewart to create a screenplay adaptation and direct the film version of the play. Stewart, at Lionsgate direction, approached Tyler Perry about producing the film. Tyler Perry told Lionsgate that if he produced it, he also wanted to write and direct it. Perry then usurped the project from Stewart and scrapped her script. The shift prompted controversy over whether Perry had the skills and consciousness to properly depict an iconic feminist work. Stewart remained on in the token position of executive producer of the film. Among the critics were Oprah Winfrey, who expressed doubt over whether the book should be made into a film at all. Others had reservations based on Perry's position at the helm of such an important book in the African American literature, particularly concerning the controversies raised by Precious, a film he lent his name to. That is from Wikipedia. It has all it's from the entry for the actual book play, not the film entry. And it's, I mean, I feel like this is a problem, right? Like,
yeah,
this is
a big one.
This is like, while I always would say I respect the hustle. I respect the story of Tyler Perry, but I just don't. Some of the decisions he makes, particularly with his art, are just like this is sad. Like this sucks, right? Like I really would love to have seen what this film could have been in the hands of a person who the material is directly targeted.
Thank you. Like,
Yeah.
how did they even allow this? Like, it's a story about Black women exclusively. It should be in the hands of a black woman writing, and a writer or writing team, and a Black woman directing this. Like,
Right. It's especially when you're talking about such heavy topics like showing a sexual assault occur on screen, and then actually really not even showing the aftermath of that, right? You don't really get into how she processes that, dealing with topics like HIV or abuse or domestic violence and sexual promiscuity. Like he's not
fucking abortion.
Abortion.
Yeah, he's not capable.
Literally nothing. Like, all right, bro.
Well, it goes to show you, like, what year did this movie come out? 2000 what?
2010.
2010, right? It does show you one thing. I guess this is a pseudo positive silver lining. You could never pull this off in 2021, right? There's no way that, hey, for Color Girls is happening and we're going with a Black male director. People would be like, nope. Like, the production companies wouldn't do it. They'd be like, this is a bad idea, right? No matter how talented that person is, right? And, obviously Perry, I think personally lacks the talent to pull something like this off, but they would never do it, right? So that is progress. It's unfortunate that this had to be a victim of that. I'd love to see it be remade by somebody, a Black woman director who's got the clout to do it, and the skill. But there's so many times, like, in this movie, and that's like, I guess I didn't think about it as I was watching it, but as you tell that story, like, there's so many moments that are supposed to be these, like, groundbreaking or really huge moments where the movie misses the mark. And it's because you're talking about something you don't know firsthand. You don't know what the fear, like, what a true fear of being raped is by a man. Like, yes, it does happen to men. Like, get out of the comments. I don't need somebody to be like, well, technically, like, I don't need that. But, like, women have that real fear. Men don't know what that fear is like. We just don't. Like, we don't experience that fear. So, like, that woman's reaction to it happening to her, and then, like, it basically destroying her level of trust forever, right? Like, her whole speech about, like, you're always being warned that it's this random enemy that's at the gates kind of thing, and it's a guy right? Like, that's a fear that women really have. And so he can't, I don't think, properly express that without just having her read that part of the poem, right? Like that. So it lacks any sort of oomph behind it, right? For lack of a better term. The constant betrayal that Loretta Devine deals with. Like, that story feels so empty to me. It's just like, Frank, where are you? I ain't here. All right, next scene. I'm like, no, there's supposed to be a lot there. But he can't express it because he's never fucking dealt with that. from a woman's perspective, right? And I'm not saying I could do it either. I can't, right? Like, I'm only critiquing what he did. Like the idea of Thandiwe Newton's character, you know, being, you know, spoiler alert, being sexually abused, and like what that does to her and why she is the way she is. It feels very empty to me. Like a lot of the movie,
which is
feels
weird
empty.
because Tyler Perry has told the story about him being sexually abused as a child.
Right. Like that's the weird thing. There's so much. But you know what? Maybe that's sort of my overall feelings on this movie. It feels incredibly empty in parts that it's not supposed to. The parts that are supposed to be just like emotionally heavy, they just don't. They're just not there because he is not capable of either pulling those type of performances or, and I think this is the bigger part of it, he can't write for shit. He can't.
Do you think that also part of the problem maybe with this film is that there are probably too many characters for him to juggle? Because I wondered when I was watching it, I was thinking like some stories didn't have to be there. Like Loretta Devine's story, as much as I love her and Richard Lawson, didn't feel like added much of anything to the movie. Right. Even some parts of Thandiwe's story I probably could have done without, and I probably would have delved more into other people's stories, maybe like Kimberly Elise's characters.
Yeah, which definitely felt shortchanged, and it really shouldn't have been.
I mean, dropped the kids out the window, like, and then we don't really see anything of him for pretty much the rest of the film.
Boy, do I have a mea culpa for that scene.
Some part of me also wondered, like, if he just had too much material, whereas like if maybe this was like maybe one or two perspectives, he could have done a better job because he would have been able to get more in depth with this. But also, I think that kind of speaks to him not just being a strong enough writer for this type of material.
He's not.
Also, you know, this is, from what I understand, like one of the reasons people didn't want this thing made into a film is because of that, right? Like, because it's too much. There's too much going on to be limited to a 2-hour film. And like you said, some characters are going to get the short end of that stick. And then the characters that are there, it's full of like just trite nonsense.
Right. And also like, and also the way it wraps up, right? At the end with the women coming together, I guess, and someone will correct me, but it feels like the ending was also like part of that poem, like my love is this.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it felt like he was trying to,
like, he forced it in there.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm just thinking like realistically, would these women be doing this together? Like, wouldn't Kimberly Elise probably be elsewhere, probably still mourning her kids? Why would Yasmin be elsewhere? Because you have Yasmin at Nyla's party when before she wouldn't even answer the door after what happened to her. So it's just, I don't know, just some of these choices that the characters make in the film. I'm just wondering, like, would they, considering what you've told us about them, would they be making these decisions right now, so soon after these traumatic events happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I get a lot of problems with this movie. I do.
Let's talk about it.
All right, let's get into it. God damn. Oof. All right. So the film starts out with Anika Noni Rose, who plays Yasmin, the lady in yellow. In the original play, by the way, the women don't have names; they're just referred to as colors. Because of the whole rainbow thing.
But because it's abstract, right? Like, it's not not a traditional narrative. You know what I mean? Right.
And it's supposed, you are supposed to, I guess, if you're a black woman, you're supposed to be able to identify easier with those characters, right? Just, you put yourself in the place. So we see her doing sort of, she's a dancer. And then we kind of meet Loretta Devine's character, and we're kind of meeting all of the women as they're all sort of being introduced. The film opens with the 9 main characters reciting a poem of their inner thoughts called Dark Phrases. Kelly arrives at Tangi's brownstone to see Crystal about the safety of her children. Kelly, played by Kerry Washington, and she's some sort of like I don't know, like a
She works with like CPS.
CPS, thank you. And
they call it something different, but it's child welfare.
Yeah, essentially. And so she's there to like try to figure out what's going on with Crystal, played by what's her name? Kimberly Elise. She's trying to figure out like what's going on with her daughter, because she ended up in the emergency room again, right? And you come to find out that Kimberly Elise is dating this guy played by Michael Ealy, named Bo Willie. Okay,
country ass name. Aren't they in New York?
Yeah, I believe they are. That dude is from down south, I assume. Couple of things. These kids are incredibly adorable. I hate to see what happened to them. It was fucking horrible. 2, slightly heavier Michael Ealy is very weird, and I don't like it. It's
fat Michael Ealy was weird. Man.
Yeah, it's baffling. I'm like, what is going on?
He was fat.
He was fat compared to what you see him in every other thing.
He was just a little.
He's a little bit more swole than he normally is.
I'm for a little bit huskier.
Yeah, when he comes out, he's got like the rough beard. Yeah, he looks wild. I was like, what happened to Michael Ealy? Almost human? What happened to you? And he's clearly not mentally well, and he is an alcoholic. And he's basically like, look, you coming up here looking after these goddamn kids. I've been trying to get a caseworker, because he's a vet, and he's like, I've been trying to get a caseworker for months. And so he's just yelling at poor Kerry Washington, and just intimidates her, knocks her books out of her hand and shit like that. He's like, just get this bullshit out of here. And she's like, oh, all right. And she makes that, the ugly cry face that she always does. I mean, she does. She makes it several times. Look, by the way, this movie is a very serious version. It's got the very serious version of the Man in 3B thing going on, where everybody lives in the same apartment building. And then, like, everyone just keeps running into each other in the hallways, which I'm a fan of. I like that. Look, one location. We don't have to go anywhere. Keep the budget low. So we see Alice, played by Whoopi Goldberg, who is a highly religious person. One could say a cult member. I mean, her daughter does.
I mean, they even say
yeah.
Yeah, like she's like, you need to pray to like Elohim or something like that. I mean, she's not well either, and she's got this daughter, Tangi, played by Thandiwe Newton, who is a she's a loose woman, as preachers would say, and she just likes to bed random men, because to quote her, I like to fuck. So God bless.
Whoopi Goldberg's character is made up for the film.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, her and Felicia Rashad's character are made up for the film.
Mm.
They represent white and black.
Oh, interesting. So we see that Whoopi Goldberg's character and her daughter don't get along, right? Obviously, she's like this crazy religious cult member, and her daughter is a woman who is not of religion, not of much religion, and so they have an adversarial thing, and Whoopi Goldberg's character Alice is asking Tangi for money, because apparently her late husband left her all this money, and so she needs it. And then when she's on the street, Alice runs into Yasmin, who we saw earlier, the dancer, as she's on a date with this guy named Bill, and they're just walking down the street, and Yasmin gives Alice, $5 or whatever. And this is a very weird scene, because like they're supposed to be like, I guess they met somewhere. As on the subway, I think he said. They meet on the subway. He asked her out, but they just keep going on these walks during the day while I guess she's headed to work. And that's how they're not dating or not going out on dates, but he keeps asking her out and she's like kind of keeps avoiding it. And then eventually, he's a little bit more pushy and she's like, okay, I'll go out with you tomorrow. And he's like, tonight at 8. And she's like, okay, it's a date. And then they walk off. And I was like, nobody made any plans though. Like y'all didn't even agree to go to a restaurant.
You don't have my number. You don't have like, hey, where we going? What we doing? He's just like, I'll see you at 8.
I guess he was picking her up at work.
All right.
Well, he met her at the subway station.
Maybe they were going to meet on the train.
Yeah, he just hangs out on the L train, just hoping she'll show up at 8:00. I guess it worked out. Then we meet Nyla, played by Tessa Thompson, the lady in purple, who is in a dance class as they're like warming up. She's telling everybody about how she fucked a guy in a car. But like
Tony Smollett was supposed to be this character, but
I can see it.
So yeah,
okay.
I could 100% see that. And no offense, but I think it would have been a better performance too. And I love Tessa Thompson, but yeah.
So I also thought Nyla's story was going to go a little bit further. Like I thought we would figure out who the guy was, and considering the close relationship that she had with Yasmin, or like it. I kind of felt like maybe like Bill was possibly going to be that dude, or because I think she mentioned that the guy was older or something. And at first I was thinking like, oh my God, is it her dance teacher's boyfriend or whatever? But no, it really was just as Tyler Perry presented it. That's exactly what you got.
Right.
Nothing deeper than that.
Well, according to one review, this movie is full of subtlety and nuance. So,
Who said that?
I said that to Micah. It was like, yo, what is this? What is this review?
Now, to play devil's advocate a bit, to try and be fair, isn't the point of this to tell the story about Black women, right? Like,
yeah.
The worst part of the story is the men, right? Like, because they're all every single one of them is an asshole.
No, what's his name isn't an asshole. Kerry Washington's husband isn't an asshole, is he?
Yes, he is.
Wait, what did he do?
Remember, he was the one that interviewed Yasmin after.
No, never mind. You're right. Nope. Damn, I forgot about that. Yeah, you 100% right. Like, nigga, come on.
I forgot to mention it earlier. Because I'm thinking like, this nigga's an asshole too. Like all the men here are just terrible.
Yeah.
Every single one.
That's why y'all always wait and exhale. I get it.
Shut up, yo.
By the way, Terry McMillan should have worked on this. She'd have probably crushed it. Like seriously. Like she probably would have done
the thing. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, Tiara, but but I don't think that.
Why'd you say it like that?
That feminists and feminism hates men. I don't think they all think that all men are fucking assholes and evil and shit.
Feminazis believe that, right? That's a word white people like to use.
but in here, like I would rather the story just not focus on the men as much as it does. Like it doesn't focus on them. But they're all there to be like foils and antagonists. And I don't know, maybe that's just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel elegant. I don't know.
Wait, I'm sorry. What are you saying?
I don't know what the hell I'm saying because this movie's got me all discombobulated.
I guess when it comes to feminism and men, it's kind of like Black people and cops, right? Like not all cops, but the ones that you see, if you see a cop, you're just gonna be like, I don't want to have anything to do with you if I don't need to have anything to do with you.
That's fair.
You never know what men are. We never know what men are going to do. What I'm saying is here. I think that Nyla's story could have been a little bit deeper, and like kind of the way that Nyla was describing her experience is when she said, yeah, like he picked me up in his nice Buick and he was a little older, and I was thinking like, okay, maybe maybe there's going to be some sort of twist here where she's also seeing the same dude that clearly her dance teacher, who she has a close relationship with, is saying, or something that's a little bit more than just, hey, I met a dude, I lost my virginity to this dude, or whatever, or in this case, I think several dudes who she mentioned.
Are you did you want it to be Frank? Like, Frank kept disappearing. Like, could have been him.
Oh God! Oh.
I would hate all of that.
Not Beyonce's stepdaddy. No.
Like, we just there's enough negative dudes in here. I don't need another one I don't need another one to be on screen, right? Of just hey, I had sex with Tessa Thompson and now
no, I'm not saying adding another character. I'm saying using one of the same dudes that's in the movie.
Bill. Yeah, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So you're saying make the male characters even worse.
Yes.
Okay.
Make them even worse.
All right, I got you. I mean, it is what it is.
So we see Tessa Thompson. She's in the middle of her dance class. Again, relaying. That story, her losing her virginity story was weird. I was like, why are there like 5 dudes? Like, that was weird.
Yeah, that's
like I couldn't get a beat on if like she was only half telling that story, or like that was just an innocent part of the story. It was strange.
Yeah, it's part of the what did it say? The subtlety and nuance or whatever.
Yeah, like a baseball bat to the head. Yeah, very subtle. Yeah, I was like, all right, I know. Like, I love us too, but like, y'all gotta relax. Like, be a little critical. Jesus. So in the middle of the dance class, Nyla runs out of the dance class and throws up in a trash can outside. And her teacher comes out and she's like, "Oh, I've seen this happen before. You just get nervous." And like, yeah, that's what happens. You gotta run all the way outside.
Why was she? But I hate to get nitpicky because it's just
ain't no trash can inside.
No, I mean,
that's one of my nitpicks.
I'm just thinking like it's clear that Nyla, and even Yasmin says it, Nyla is your best student. So I'm assuming that she's been going there for a while. Have you seen her throw up like this before? But before a practice? Right. Because she's never mind. Just
don't give it away. Don't give it away. It's a hard fought detail in the movie. We do then see Donald, who turns out to be the husband of Kerry Washington's character. He bumps into them when they're outside. Then he gets in he's a cop. He gets into his car. There is on the radio, like this scene again. I'm not sure. I don't know what goes on in the head of Tyler Perry sometimes when he writes things. I'm very confused. Then we see a scene of an NYPD helicopter streaking across the city with the on the radio saying units centered in the vicinity of 135th Street. And then it's like these cops are going there because they're like, possible, be on the lookout for the silver BMW parked in an alleyway, possible illicit activity. And so the cops are like, all right, we're going to check it out. Like, was the helicopter looking for them? Like, it's really weird.
The response for prostitution in New York is outrageous.
Right, like we need to scramble the helicopters. I don't think you do need to do that. It's fine. Relax. So yeah, Officer Watkins and Moreno get called in for some street BJs, and they pull up behind this BMW, and you see a man sitting in the driver's seat, and then as the cops pull up,
before you actually see him getting the blowjob.
Yeah, no,
the
getting
head is moving up and down, but it's played like, is he gay? I don't know, maybe. Yo, you're getting a blowjob from a dude.
Like, that's it.
Like, yeah. Like,
I mean,
solved.
I mean, in fairness, he wasn't the one He was the one doing the
blowing.
No fucking,
That's
just
gay.
sex. That's what he said.
No attachments. This is again. Look, I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm not gonna make any jokes about anybody's preferences or in the closet, not in the closet. But how does Tyler Perry not get hit for being possibly like anti-gay? Like, I don't understand it. Like watching
I don't
this,
know why he doesn't get hit for anything. Like he doesn't.
he
get
never
hit for
does.
Because let me
Yes,
tell
he
you something, yo.
does.
Let me tell you something.
Without
gets hit
being a
for
bad
the-
writer.
He gets hit for writing black women like this.
Poorly.
Does he
Yeah.
though? Because
Yeah,
he keeps
does.
doing it, and
I
people
mean,
keep
he
seeing
making
it.
money. He
There-
keeps
look,
making
look.
money.
And his major demographic is black women.
Tyler Perry has a base of people who love his stuff, and not judging anyone who loves his stuff. But there are.
I am a
some
little,
sections
but
of-
that's fine. Do your thing. I like the Fast and Furious movies. Who am I to say anything?
That's true. That is true. But there are women who celebrate his achievements, but also but he writes black women pretty shittily too. So
That's
those criticisms are out there.
I feel like there are not enough of them because
I think people need to start screaming it from the mountaintops.
I mean, if you want him to change, you can't keep giving him money to do the same shitty thing over and over again.
But we've had these discussions in like our groups and stuff like that. But why would he? He knows his audience. So
I mean, he's a billionaire now. Like he ain't changing. Are there any other directors who are billionaires, by the way?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think Steven Spielberg is a billionaire, yo. Like,
But to be honest, look, how much does a Tyler Perry production cost? How much is he paying?
They're mad cheap.
Aren't they? I don't know if this is true. Somebody could probably mention it, but I don't even know if he uses unionized.
He doesn't.
workers.
No, he doesn't. Nah, he'll fuck with
Okay.
that. Nah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nah, that's a white man's trick. Don't do that. Who invented a union? White man. Don't do it. Nah, nope. Nice try, white people. I see what you're trying to do. Trying to take black man's money.
I respect the hustle, man, but
I don't respect that hustle.
I don't respect. Well, you know what I mean. I'm not talking about not using union workers. I'm talking about being homeless to being a billionaire off of mediocrity. I respect that.
I mean, I'm jealous of it. Honestly, if I'm being real,
like he played the game. Like he and I get it, but this is critiquing his art, not his business acumen. And his art, in my opinion, stinks, man. It just really does. Like, God damn it.
So they pull over Amari Hardwick, who,
by the way, we don't need to make movies in order to criticize movies. Fuck you, YouTube commenters.
That is definitely cool.
look. Meanwhile,
But
they will write that.
$1
Look, they will write that. They will sit right on their couches on Sunday afternoon and talk about how everybody playing the sport that they like sucks, and they've never thrown a fucking football a day in their lives. Shut up.
Right.
I ain't like that new song. You make a song? No, but this is different. All right, then stop. Shut up. Everybody is critical of something. Like, you ever go into a restaurant and be like, I didn't like these waffles. You making them? You selling them? No? Then shut the fuck
What
up.
kind of logic is that?
Yeah, I hate that logic. It doesn't make any sense. You have to do something to criticize it. No, you don't. Like writing stupid reviews of our show because I call Candace Owens a cunt. See? That's dumb.
I mean,
she is. I don't apologize. Anyway, so here's a person who's a real mean person. Janet Jackson's character, good Lord, she is a terrible boss. Her name is Jo, and I guess she owns Robe Rouge. Is it Robe Rouge? Yeah, Robe Rouge magazine, which is a terrible name for a magazine. But she's just dunking on everybody who works for her. Like, you guys suck. This is the worst. Look at my leather outfit. Now bring me my pills. And so you come to find out that Kimberly Elise's character, Crystal, is her assistant or one of her assistants. And she's a very good one, but she's always late to work because black. And Jo gives her a hard time. She's like, yeah, what's the matter? You overslept? Couldn't get a babysitter? What's your problem? right? She's not a very nice boss. She's a lot like I would imagine Tiara is as a boss. Just very stern, very mean.
No,
to her underlings.
Very successful and no nonsense.
Yeah. See? Oh, none of those are true? Cool. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's just move on.
What Micah said is
no, ain't no cherry picking.
I am amazing to work for. I'm awesome. I'm a great manager. Come work for me.
I actually like Janet Jackson's performance in this.
I don't think she's bad at all, actually. I don't.
Yeah.
No.
I like her.
Wasn't this right after Michael died? This was right after that, right?
2010?
Yeah. I thought this was
right.
I thought he died closer to Why Did I Get Married To?
Oh, okay, it was that one.
Oh, that's why she was like super emotional in that. Probably.
Yeah, that's why she killed a guy. She drove a guy insane, and he just drove off in a huff and got T-boned by a U-Haul.
Yeah,
again, a very
over it. And she got over it when the most electrifying man in all of bad movies.
Who is uncredited in that film, by the way?
Yeah, I bet he is. He was like, "Nah, don't put my name down. You good? Don't even worry about it." He ain't need that at all. He ain't need that at all. Like, why did he even do it? Like, he just tried to get a couple black people on his side. He was like,
trying to get his foot in the door, man. Trying to get his foot in the door.
Before anyone says anything, we like The Rock.
Yeah, I do like The Rock. Jay don't like The Rock.
No, that's not true. I don't dislike African American Adam. I like him just fine. He gets on my nerves sometimes. I think he's ridiculous. No, I thought her performance here was good. I like all the women in the main cast. I thought were good. I actually did. I think I
feel like Loretta Devine needs more work. Like
Loretta Devine is a good actress, man.
She's always good in everything she's in.
I'm sorry, y'all. I think Jay, your comment made ginger beer and vodka come out my nose.
Good. Good. That's what you get. I don't know what I said that did that, but you deserved it.
African
American Adam.
Yeah. Loretta Devine.
I like her.
I think she's always going to put in a good performance, right? I just felt for this movie probably unnecessary. That storyline.
Yeah. No, I mean, it didn't have the oomph. It didn't have the oomph behind it. It just didn't. No, but she's always like, I don't know. I always find her to always play like really good, wholesome characters.
Right.
And I just think she always does a really good job.
She always plays wholesome characters, but like wholesome characters that fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like waiting to exhale. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Loretta Devine is like, nah, I get mine. I gets mine. Like, God, don't let the middle school teacher like appearance fool you. I fucks.
Yeah. I ain't mad at her about it.
Right, I ain't mad at her. I'm not mad at all.
Yeah, I mean,
calm down.
Everybody in this main cast, besides Whoopi Goldberg, to me, could get it.
Wow.
Whoopi Goldberg doesn't really do it.
You know what, Jay, with that comment,
back in the day, maybe.
you just made her point that she gave later in the movie. Why she didn't mess with the colorists.
Oh, no. It's all right. Should be all right. So then we have a scene of Kerry Washington's character, Kelly, and her husband, Hill Harper, who plays a character named Donald. I read an interesting article about him just today, which is weird. But they are trying to have a kid, and you come to find out like her fallopian tubes have scars on them because she had an untreated STD. Which, okay, that's kind of like a big point, which they never explain.
They do. Don't they explain it? They explain it later on.
Do they?
Yeah.
How?
She talked about it. She mentioned how her and her friends.
Oh, right. And she was like, yeah, they all wanted to sleep with this dude, and then she did. And oh, yeah. That's right.
All of them did.
Yeah. It was Frank, wasn't it? I bet it was Frank. Frank was everywhere.
I don't know. It feels lazy. a lazy way to describe someone not having an STD. Also, it feels kind of like unnecessary, right? Like, I don't know of an STD that does this, but if you're going to go out of your way to say it was an STD, like, well, what is it? I don't. That feels like a detail that is there just to make that character, just to put that character down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't feel like I was like, okay.
Like,
yeah, it's
just
to make her.
Like, some people just can't have it's just some people have trouble having kids. It's just a thing.
You don't need to give it an STD.
Right.
Right.
Like,
It's
and
unnecessary.
that's another thing where it's like, if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, don't do it.
Yeah, we're just having trouble having kids. Spoiler alert, it's like, what is it, like 1 in 8 or 2 in 8 couples in America have trouble having kids.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super high. Like, yeah, people don't talk about that. Like, it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon at all.
Again, but even then, like, just without the STD right part, this is yet another storyline where it kind of just falls flat. Right?
Yeah, I didn't need this story at all.
Like, Kelly could have just been a person who works at Child Protective Services, and that's it. Like, we didn't need this part of the story, especially if we weren't going to go deeper into, me and my friends like the same dude in college, so we all messed with him and he gave us an STD. Like, that's so unnecessary when you could have just taken the time, if you wanted to go through her and her partner's journey of wanting to have children.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Like, that should be the point of that character.
That's
not
hard
like,
enough. It's hard enough.
Not like, oh, we were in a harem gangbang with this dude and he gave us all STDs. Like, what the fuck?
Also, they made it, at least I assume that I'm reading the scene right. Her husband didn't know?
Yeah, it might be something you want to...
Right,
So
like
did he
in the
want
scene,
to-
he's like, "Well, is it okay if I say this?" And
I don't want to know. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that you and 3 of your girls banged this dude.
I don't need to know that.
I don't need to know that.
Like, do you have an active STD? I want to know that. like that. That's an issue.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how she got the STD. See, the whole STD thing doesn't make.
Is it still there? Is it not there? Like, what is going on? Right? Like, so I'm just, yeah, I think you could have just made it, hey, her and her husband having trouble having kids, because the whole point of their complexity of not having kids is that they're not having kids, and she was focused on that, and she felt guilty about it, while this other woman later on loses her kids. That's the whole point. Also, you have another character with the STD, so why are you doubling down on that? Like, it's just not good writing. It's not good writing. And again, if you were a woman, you could just address and be like, yeah, some women just have a hard time having kids. Period. Full stop.
Yeah.
You don't need to make it a fucking thing. This is dumb. Cut to Tanji. She is a barkeep. And she's at her job. It's like a fancy pants place. And this dude is like, hey, I'll have a double vodka. And she's like, oh, you obviously want to fuck around on your wife. And he's like, you sure? You know what? You're right. I do. And she's like, I'm willing to bang right after work. And he was like, bet. That was a whole conversation, basically. And then she goes home with him. And this guy's like, oh, I thought you were a prostitute. What?
Like that.
Nigga,
like,
I'm a bartender. Like, I work here. So, yeah.
That whole scene. It just made me angry.
Laughing at her ass. He started laughing at. Oh! I didn't think regular women just had sex like that on the first night. I could have sworn you was a whore. Oh, you're not.
This is some sick shit. I'm like, what?
That's hilarious.
Again,
What
unnecessary scene.
Well, it's unnecessary. Yes. It's also really poorly written. Why would that be? One, why would he think she's a prostitute? She works there. She didn't just meet him at the bar, right? Like, that is something, like, if you're at the bar and a woman's like, hey, you want to go home and fuck? Be like, oh, that woman's a prostitute. Like, that's a logical conclusion. Not, hey, I work here. Yeah, I also do prostituting on the side at this high-end bar. What? That doesn't make sense. Again, it's bad writing. It's just bad writing.
But Jay, how else are we going to know that she's promiscuous, and shouldn't be having as much sex as she wants to? How else are we going to know if we don't have a man to tell her that she is a sick individual for taking another adult who made a choice to fuck off on his wife home?
Right, that same man who wanted to fuck her.
I never see. That's what I don't understand. Like, oh, I'm not a prostitute. Oh, my bad. Should I just keep getting my pants down? Or like, because that's what a real dude would think, right? Like, right. A real dude's not going to be like, oh, let me fuck this up. No.
Like, oh, you're not a prostitute? Huh, you stupid bitch. Like, wait, what?
You should at least be getting paid for it. I'm like, I literally met you at my job. What are you talking? You paid me. You paid me for the work I already do.
Right. Again, he's not a very good writer, guys. He's not a very good writer.
What's so annoying is, and I know like 19-year-old me would have said something completely different, but like, just
I hope so, actually.
Like, it's so offensive. What I feel like this movie is telling me is like, see, black woman, this is why you got to be making better choices in the men that you choose to mess with, because you're at fault for the shitty ass consequences that you choose to make, which is like, no, this is not how this works out. Like, these women are adult women who can take responsibility for their lives, but for the shit that the men choose to do, the men don't get to be scot-free. That they're not innocents here. It just, I hate how it feels like he's treating men like children who don't know any better. And it's just,
spoiler alert, that's in every movie.
Yeah.
That's in all of his movies.
It's like he's one of them YouTube relationship guru niggas, right? Like,
if you put on
let me tell you what your problem is. You don't smile enough. Right? Like this is the vibe that this whole thing is giving off.
Yeah.
And this is not,
I don't know, guys. I wonder what the similarities are. I wonder why he believes. You know what? Let me just leave it there. So back to Thick Michael Ealy and his drinking problem. It was so weird seeing that dude like not be thin. It's fucking just bizarre. Also, he just looks like shit. So yeah, he's talking to Kimberly Elise's character Crystal, and he's like, "Look, why don't you ever want to marry me?" And I'm like, "Nigga, cause you a loser." Like, and she's like, "I loved you since we were 14 years old."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Girl, you need to move on." But yeah, she's basically trying to convince him not to drink, because he's a mess. Like this guy clearly has some sort of like PTSD or something like that. Like, you do kind of feel sorry for him, because he is kind of a pathetic character, but at the same time, no.
Yeah, it's like you said, he has no redeeming qualities either. So and he's not trying, right? Like, way to take a character that is inherently sympathetic and make me hate him. Like, that is,
I mean, there's definitely a part you're supposed to hate him, but it's not here. It's not here.
But it's not right. But it's not like right here. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Michael Ealy, big time Bo Willie apologist. Mm-hmm. See, I knew it. Bo Willie. Yo, they really named this dude Bo Willie. Yo, that's wild.
And it's not B-O Willie, it's B-E-A-U Willie.
Yeah, he's Creole.
Like the masculine form of beautiful, right? Like beautiful Willie.
Beautiful Willie. That's exactly who he is. Wow. So then we cut to a restaurant where Joe, played by Janet Jackson, is sitting alone, looking all fine. And she's sitting alone, waiting on her husband, Amari Hardwick, who is, obviously in some, I'm sure they're scrambling another helicopter for him in his silver BMW.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. There was one part earlier with Joe when she sees Loretta Devine's character and when she asks her for money.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe's like, I gifted this. I donate to Africa. And I was like, what?
Africa's far. Yo, they didn't even come up with real sounded charities. I donate to Africa. All of it? Which parts? North, South, Central?
I was watching. I was like, boy, that is a Tyler Perryism if I've never heard.
Like he ain't even try. He ain't even look nothing up. Like you could just Google. Like you got a laptop, right? It's 2010. Like just Google like African charities and like just come up with a name, right? I don't know, Children of Rwanda, or like whatever. Like he was just like, nah, fuck it, Africa. Don't worry.
The whole continent.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. Like, all right. He ain't give a fuck. So while Joe is at that dinner, we see Yasmin and Bill are also at that same place having dinner. And look, this is just me. This is just me. I would like to separate myself from the two of you as I give this comment because I don't want y'all to catch any shots.
Jay's about to say something super sexist.
No, it has nothing to do. No, it's not sexist at all. I hate all of these fucking annoying dance metaphors that she says in this scene. It irritates the shit out of me. Like, I was so-and-so that night. And I'm like, all right. Is the pasta good? Can we move the fuck on? This is horrible. Like, I did not like the writing in the scene at all. It was just awful. So yeah, I didn't like that she kept like, I didn't like at the end where she was like, my love is music. I was like, I don't even know what that means. like just stop for the love of God. All of these music references are irritating. So I just found that annoying.
Jay's an asshole.
What? I didn't like it. My body is a rhythm nation. All right, we get it. Janet's a rhythm. Just fucking take it easy. So we get back to Alice in Nyla's apartment. We see that Alice is a hoarder. She comes in and she's like, "You moved my box," and Nyla's like, "No, your box is right there. Relax." She's like, "I don't like when you move my stuff." Which reminds me of the show Hoarders, and why I can't watch that show. No, I can't see people live like that. It's maddening to me. It's always like a crazy person who lives in New York. It's fucking nuts. So I don't know if you guys know anybody who's a hoarder, but it's disturbing. No. I did have a friend who suggested that on that show, they should just put that person in a chair and lift that chair like on a chain above the entire room while they sit in it and then light all their shit on fire in front of them. I was like, that's fucked up. He was like, it'll teach them a lesson.
Jesus.
I was like, yo, they will lose their mind. I kind of want to watch that. No, hoarding is horrible. So don't start, what is it? What do they say leads to that? Like super couponing, like when you just buy like 900 bottles of Tide because you can get it for 25 cents. Like, don't do that. Like, that's what leads to hoarding. So she's basically like, look, your sister won't give me any money, even though, it's for you for this application for college. If I tell her it's for you, she's not going to give it to him. And then she's like, Elohim or whatever, we'll find a way. So, things are going well, I guess. Then back to Dance Dance Revolution. At the end of their date, things are going going well. Everyone seems really happy. They get to Yasmin's door, and Bill gives her a very awkward kiss. But like they seem happy, and I'm happy for them. I was. But she's a little for somebody who was like real standoffish. I'm like, you're doing a lot of dancing like on this walk. Like it's a little weird, but that's not suggestive of anything.
Here it comes.
No, this is not. No, this is not.
Victim blaming.
No, this has nothing to do with that scene. I just found this scene to be very weird. No, the scene.
Look at Jay playing detective.
No, detective. Get the fuck out of here. See, I saw at 23 minutes. No. The scene. The scene of their next date.
Let me ask you something, ma'am.
Are you sure that you didn't
Were
sip?
you drinking?
Yo, I had a sip. I was like, yo, what is going on?
Did you lead them on?
I was like, yo, come on. That scene really bothered me. But this whole scene though at the end where he's like, hey, that was such a good date. Next time you gonna cook for me. I'm like, nigga, that's mad suggestive, by the way. Like,
well, here's the thing. Right before then, he's like, so can I come up? And I'm like, yo, this nigga from Girlfriends, Darnell from Girlfriends is like, he's just like, I feel like saying, dude, like you were giving off a mad creeper vibes right now. Just asking straight up, can you come up? Like, no.
That's a little weird. I never did that. I always waited to be asked.
Well,
I never.
Jay, I think it's probably there's probably one or several major differences between you.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think there's quite a few. I'd like to think
there's probably one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe several.
Yeah,
maybe
like what
several.
the fuck? Like, there's probably not even. There is one. There's probably one. Thanks. What the fuck?
You know I didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
Don't let Micah start stuff.
Yeah, She's like, haha. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good joke, Micah. You nailed it. Yeah, go fuck yourself, both of y'all. So working against me. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, you get to cook next time, and I was like, I don't like that presumption. That's fucking weird. So yeah, it's a way to get into her apartment. Dude, why don't you just ask her to come to your apartment, and why don't you heat up some macaroni and cheese or whatever?
I can't let her know where I live at, so she can point the cops directly at my place.
I mean,
I got a lot of questions about the logic of that scene too. I'm like, all right,
she knows your face.
You're right. She knows what you look like, nigga.
She knows your name. Well, maybe you give her a fake name. All right, but she knows what you look like, bro.
Yeah, you just go down to the police station. They got professional sketchers down there. They will find your ass. So back at Tangi's house, with man number 2, as he's labeled, he was like, I thought you were a prostitute. My bad. And then he starts laughing.
I'm just old fashioned.
Like, she's like, I'm just
cheating on your wife, nigga. It's like what?
I mean, that's pretty old fashioned, TR.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
There's a whole song about it.
Yeah,
as we lay.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh, I've heard that song before. So she's like, yeah, get out. You're a piece of shit. And he's like, yeah, you're a whore. Okay, thanks. No, you could have had some pussy, but now look at you. So yeah, he leaves. He was like, don't judge me. Or she says, you wouldn't want to judge me, you son of a bitch. And then here comes her sister. Hey, can I have some money? And she's like, why do you need money? And it's basically like, well, I need it for a college application. How much you need? $300. That's not how much a college application costs. You lying. Could have come up with a more creative
Also, it's
answer.
like 11 o'clock. What the fuck are you doing here?
Right.
Asking me for money at
Right.
11 o'clock at night. Get out of here.
For your college application. Just a side note. Felicia Rashad still looks amazing in this movie. She looks great.
yes.
Yeah,
I like Felicia Rashad.
This was a decade ago, but yeah.
He still looks the same.
Largely. Yeah, she largely does.
All right.
Because wasn't she was in that other Tyler Perry movie with the Ashtray Bitch movie.
Oh, yeah, she was.
She was his mom, right?
And now
Yeah.
she's
She was the
on,
mom with her son with the little arms from Mortal Kombat.
And now she's on This Is Us.
Oh, is she? Whose mom is she in that?
She plays Beth's mom.
Oh, that
Diana's
works.
wife.
Yeah. That works. That's pretty good.
And her late husband was Jamaican. So there are more Jamaican references on the show.
Yes, good. My people being represented. I'm proud of them. So then we get a scene of Joe's husband. Amari comes home and she's like, where you been? It's like, was out doing stuff and things. Yeah, I'm a broker. Yeah, you know how we do. She's calling him out because he took a bunch of money, $200,000 or something like that, out of her account and spent it on, he's a broker. So I guess he invested it and probably fucked it up.
Look, I'm not married. But I feel like taking $200,000 out of your spouse's account or your joint account or whatever, and investing it into a company that fails without even telling your spouse, is that grounds for divorce?
How much money we got? We got Jeff Bezos money? No. We got my money? Yes.
Okay.
Right. The fuck? How did we even get $200,000? Where did you steal this money from?
I mean, it's just all, and also he's like, when she was like, you have no vision.
You are fucked up. That's how that woman talks.
See?
Making fun of them.
See?
I'm not.
Don't always look to Micah and I as being assholes. Nah, yo. No. You being mean to Janet Jackson. She is an icon.
I'm not being mean to Janet Jackson. That's how she talks.
Okay.
She's
you being an asshole. See?
She was like, you don't have a reason to be upset.
That's fucked up.
And when she broke it down, I was like, she kind of right. Like,
no, yo, that's not cool. It's not cool.
You can't be doing that.
Nah, you don't take large sums of money out of the joint account like that. Don't do that. Also, look, I'm not trusting my spouse if I don't know where they've been all day and I call the police. You come home, you're like, I gotta take a shower. Get out. You'll get out. Now, you're guilty of something. I need a detailed answer where you were. And I'm not a jealous guy, but you ain't just gonna be gone all day and I can't get a hold of you like, I was out with my friends. No, knock it off. So Hill Harper comes home to his wife. They have some sort of interaction. It's really kind of useless. And no one cares. Next, Loretta Devine and Richard Lawson, they go through their back and forth because he's trying desperately to win her back, but he keeps cheating on her, and he keeps leaving her for some other woman. And keeps trying to kiss her. To the point where he packs up all his stuff and leaves. Yeah, it's a little weird. Comes back and moves in, but because all of his clothes are gone, he's like, all right, fuck this. I'm breaking up with this bitch, and I'm taking all my clothes with me, and I'm gonna hang out with this new chick, and then I'm done with this new chick, so I'm gonna move all my stuff back in. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Like, I don't understand that, man. I really don't. Like, we get that he keeps going in and out, right? And I don't know. You know what else doesn't make sense? In this scene, he has an American flag pin on his lapel. Yeah, he's a patriot. Why? He's a patriot. Well, anyway, these two.
It's to give him a background that we will never get into in this movie.
Yeah, he's a patriot. Like, I just don't know the decisions made in this movie. And then Frank, and she's just like, I'm tired of this shit, Frank. I'm tired of it. I ain't trying to do this no more. It's like, oh, but let me just kiss you, baby. It's like, no, Frank, get the hell away from me. And, oh, let me just eat your pussy, baby. It's like, no, oh, shit, Frank. Okay. All right. I was like,
You did. Oh my god! Like, I'm sorry. But
Yo, that's exactly what happened in that scene.
no, does Tyler Perry think that?
Yeah, that's all it takes. You just gotta. You're hysterical. Let me take care of that for you. You're hysterical.
What's another movie where he did that?
It's basically the baby boy thing, right?
Yes, that's what it is. It's Baby Boy.
Yeah. It's just like fuck you into complacency. Like, it's weird. Like, again, that is a thing only a guy would write. That's only a thing a guy would write and think that makes sense. Like, a woman wouldn't write that.
Tyler Perry's a stone cold nigga, yo. Like, don't ever get that twisted. Like,
Yeah, no, he is.
He hates women, and he is a fucking nigga, yo.
Yeah, I think his quote unquote love for black women is putting them into a very obvious box and never allowing them to leave it.
His love for black women follows like strict, like religious hierarchy, right? It's God, it's man, it's woman, it's children, it's animals, right? Like that's the pecking order.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I mean, look, I don't know what's in his heart, but all of his art is telling me that that's how he is. And it sucks. And this is, you gotta evolve, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Well,
I mean,
I'll also add that like part, because I think you're more so critiquing his actual products and not him and how he
right
and like but like also part of the reason why I think Tyler Perry gets such a pass with the stuff that he does write is because a lot of these actors and actresses who are pretty well known now, he would give them work. So like I know Taraji P. Henson is someone who has been in multiple projects of his.
Yep. Oh yeah, she's very loyal to him.
He loved himself some Cicely Tyson, who was in a few of his projects too. So I think that's also why people are more willing to kind of more so look the other way or just let him do his thing, because he does put other actors and actresses on.
And you know what? I mean, maybe these actors maybe they're into it. Maybe they like this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
maybe.
Like these are, Felicia Rashad don't have to be in this.
No,
I don't think Janet Jackson needed to be here.
Janet Jackson didn't need to be in this at all. She filthy, stinking rich.
Right.
So
I mean, yeah. I think outside
she's been in 3 of his movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, outside of Tessa Thompson in 2010, who in this cast really needed to star in this? Nobody.
No.
So,
there was one movie starring Idris Elba, and Idris Elba was like, "I ain't working with him no more," and that's why you don't see Idris Elba.
Really?
That's Daddy's Little Girls?
Girl?
Yeah, that's Daddy's Little Girls. That's
really.
He's just like, this ain't for me.
Yeah, because it's not.
That's
good.
why you don't see him in any other movie, in any Tyler Perry movie. Tyler Perry loves reusing people, especially like big names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like look at all the people. Look at all the people in this, and I don't know. Anyway,
I don't think Idris Elba is going to try to continue to I don't think he's going to wreck his career by being in more of these movies. He's outgrown that. He doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Doesn't need it. Tessa Thompson. She ain't gonna go back and do one of these movies. Are you kidding me? Why? Like, she in Marvel movies, Creed, and all. Like, she's in big movies now. She don't need that.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger name people who are in these movies now is because they want to, because they just like working with him, and that's fine.
Right.
Oh, look,
it's nothing wrong with being loyal. It's nothing wrong with that.
He has been quoted as saying, "I'm not with buffoonish characters like Medea."
That's what Elba said?
Yeah, but he's also but again, he also respects Tyler Perry, because somebody tried to ask him an anti-Tyler Perry question, and he's just like, no, like Tyler Perry helped me boost my career.
Right.
I'm just not into these type of characters, the type of characters that are in those type of movies.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm the same way. I respect that guy immensely for what he's done, for what he has been able to build from nothing, it's remarkable. But god damn, like it just sucks.
Yeah.
I guess
that's the frustrating part.
I mean, my irritation with him has always been that it doesn't feel like he's trying. Like he's hit a line that he realizes is successful, and he just doesn't want to try anymore. He's like, why?
Well, I think that's hard to.
Wouldn't this movie be him trying something different?
This is in 2010. Look at everything you've gotten after that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
this would be more impressive if this was an original project, right? Like, if it was totally original and the poems he wrote, and if that was totally original, then I would be like, that is an amazing thing. But he just adapted something. He stole someone else's movie. We talked about it. He was just like, oh, bet I want to direct that. They were like, all right.
Was Acrimony the Tyler Perry film?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How could you not know that?
The movie was so bad. I don't know. I don't know if it's right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's right to say that he's not trying anymore. I mean, I think all of his movies are pretty much the same. To me, like they don't, with the exception of a few, they all have his little
Je ne sais quoi.
He's
yes.
an auteur. He's an auteur.
He is an auteur. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
By the way, that word does not mean good.
Yeah, it just means you have a unique, like
yes,
you see a film, you know exactly who did that movie. That's what
right.
auteur.
Yeah, yes. So it's hard for me to say that he's not trying. I feel like he is. That he thinks that he's trying. That he feels like that when he writes certain things, like in this scene with Frank and what's her name, Juanita, and
Macy Gray. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What scene are you talking about?
Frank and Loretta Devine.
Oh, Loretta Devine. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like I mean,
your pussy and that'll calm you down.
Yeah, when I feel like when he is writing, I truly think that he is like got him. Especially when she ends that scene with saying like, "You got any condoms?" Because it's right after the scene where she's telling other women you need protection or you should use protection to prevent getting HIV, and then she says that he's probably like,
nailed.
That's going to be a zinger in the theater, and he was right because I was there.
I kind of want to see one of these movies in theaters just to see what the experience is.
You know what, Jay? You should. I think your perspective would evolve
into something. Sure, it would evolve into something. It would just be curious to hear people's reactions to certain things.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I could probably guess, but look, I'm not looking down on people who like his stuff. It's just not for me. No, it's just not for me. Like back in the day, absolutely, that's how I felt 100%. But I'm growing, and I realize that certain things are for certain people, and this stuff is not for me. So then we see Nyla's character. She heads down to her sister tells her about a place that she could go get an abortion. She heads down to the shadiest place ever. And she ends up at Macy Gray's house. Just randomly. I was like, is that Macy Gray? What the fuck are you doing in this movie? Her name is Rose, and Macy Gray's like, yeah, I'll give you an abortion. Give me my money, and I'm gonna put these forceps and all this other medical equipment in just like some Hennessy, and we'd be good to go.
good Lord.
No. Yeah, this is kind of sad. And again, this scene, actually not a terribly done scene. In fairness, it really isn't. But in the hands of somebody who has either gone through that or understands what it would be like in some more personal way to go through having an abortion, I think he again misses the mark, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously I've never had an abortion, but it just again it feels more like we're supposed to. It feels like we're more identifying with wackiness of Macy Gray's character, because she's delivering this sort of soliloquy, than we are with the sort of the tragedy of Tessa Thompson's character.
I disagree. I think this scene is put off pretty effectively if the goal is to portray something horrible or horrific. And that's what I get from the scene. Like, here's this character who is incredibly naive, pretty, for the most part, very innocent, going to, it ain't subtle. She's going down a dark alley,
right?
And coming to this doctor, and the way it's shot, it's, in like a dream-like state where, and then you see all these horrific looking instruments, and what's about to happen, and the anticipation of it, and you see, what's her name? You see Tessa Thompson's character, her eyes are darting around like she looks panicked. I think this scene is, for what I think it's trying to do, I think it kind of pulls it off.
Right. I'm not saying it's a bad scene. Like I said, I think it is a good scene. I just think the for me personally, I think it's drawing your attention away from Thompson's character, which I think is a mistake.
And I don't think so. I think you are seeing it. I think he's trying to make it seem like you are seeing it through her eyes.
That's a fair point. That's a totally fair point. Tiara, what's your thoughts on this scene? Before we get to the most horrendous scene in the movie.
More in line with what Michael was thinking. I don't really have any strong feelings about this scene. Okay. It's fine.
All right, so on to something lighter. This is the most horrendous scene in the movie, in my opinion. I mean, certainly there's another scene that's pretty horrible, but this one, you get to see and not, sort of
didn't like it. Really didn't like it.
All right, so Yasmin and Bill have their date over at Yasmin's house, and everybody is excited to see everybody, and she lets them in, and she's cooking or whatever, and things are going well, and he's like trying to kiss her a couple times, and she's like, "No, we're getting dinner," and he's like, "Oh, can a brother get a hug?" Like, all right, relax. I hate when people do that. He just decides, I guess I'm just going to strip down. Like, I'm feeling it. And so I'm just going to strip my clothes off. And I literally watched this and I was like, nigga, what are you doing? Like, it's such a weird way to shoot a rape scene that, like, I've seen hundreds, 1,000 movies at this point. Like, I've seen scenes done, rape scenes done before that I think do a better job of showing the sort of like, it doesn't have to be overly visceral, right? Because it's not a fun thing to watch by any means. But it starts off in making it seem so weirdly unserious. And then for it to take this turn, right. I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, it looked like, hey, this guy is reading this totally wrong and he's going to strip naked and get embarrassed. But then all of a sudden he's like, nah, I'm going to rape you then. I'm like, what the fuck? Who wrote this? Like, it's a very weird way to show this scene.
I guess so. Because I really don't want to give this man, Tyler Perry, the benefit of the doubt here. But I guess what he is trying to convey here is that the people who you trust the most can just do something horrific to you like this. The problem is that it's not done well at all. It does play off like it's just like, okay, we're just flirting, but it's just to take such a sharp 180 turn. It feels kind of jarring.
It is. It is.
It's I lost my train of thought, but I know, like, when I watched it, I actually kind of had to turn away because I was just like, for me, I don't need to see any sexual assault in any kind of film.
Sure.
To me, I think for me, a cut to black would have been fine for me, instead of just watching it. with different cuts of what's her name at the opera. Michael, what were you going to say?
You know, you can't like sexual assault and rape is something serious, man. Like
Right.
it's and the way the scene starts off, it starts off like a goofy, raunchy romantic comedy.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
And for it to just be like because it's inherently silly, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna take all of my clothes off and huh?
Right.
Like it's silly. And then it's just like, yeah, no, we're doing this right now. And you know, he does the hacky like intercut between something horrific and something you know, not horrific, right? Like something not as bad, or something bad playing over with inappropriate music playing over top of it, or something like that. And it just and then you know, you keep cutting back to it. I don't like rape scenes. I don't think you need to show them. And if you do show them, you know, I can understand that showing them it's shocking, and it's supposed to make you feel something, and it's supposed to elicit a certain reaction. But if you're gonna do it, like if you feel like your art needs to show this, you need to show it for the violent crime that it is, and not have anything goofy about it. And the fact that this dude literally takes his goddamn socks off, it just is. I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, I think you're exactly right. Right. It's just, it just felt so weird. Right. Like, okay. I hate to say this because it sounds fucking strange, but like if I was writing this scene, like you either, like you said, you either do a fade to black, right? You imply it and then you're done, right? And like, that's enough, right? Everybody knows the shit is horrendous. Or if you're going to show it and be fucking serious, because this is a big deal that you're showing, right? Like Mike and I saw a movie called Elle. It opens with a rape scene. There ain't no cut in the black. Ain't no cut in the black. Ain't no music playing in the background. Nothing. This is a scene, and you are stuck with this scene, right? And you can't move out of it, right? Because it's immediate the second the movie opens. So like, and it's jarring, but it's fucking supposed to be, right? Like, because it sets the precedent for that entire movie where you just go, wow, okay, holy shit, right? Like, but it takes it serious. It doesn't back off, and it really does. It does take it serious. Like, if you're going to write this scene, right? This is how I know Tyler Perry is not a very good writer. Is if you're going to write this scene and imply it the way that he's implying, which is this like close person, right? That she's letting down her guard, and then he takes advantage, obviously, and then it fucking goes fucking catastrophic. What you would do is you would have them like maybe kissing a little bit. And then before she knows it, he's moved way too quick, and then he's like on her, right? Not this like, hey, MTV Cribs, like strip off, or you know, like fucking Real World, like goofy, take my clothes off, crazy shit, and then it turns. That doesn't make sense. Like that doesn't make sense. Like it should be a moment of like intimacy where he breaks past that. And it's too fast for her. And then he's just like, fuck it, I'm going for it. Like, it shouldn't have been this. Like, it almost implies that he came and he was like, I'm going to rape this woman tonight. That's it. Right? Like it's a really weird fucking way to shoot it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I know somebody could say, well, maybe that was his plan, but that seems really weird to go on a date with somebody to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't function.
I think that's exactly what that was, because later on in the movie you find out that he tried to do it again to another woman. Right. So like the implication is that he is a serial rapist. Right. And that he does this sick thing of trying to pretend like he's dating women only to get into their homes and to do it. The problem is it's just it's the way it's sold isn't it feels like he didn't consult anybody to write this scene as well as it could have. And the only reason
there's no way he did. There's no way he did.
And I would say it's Anika Noni Rose who sells the trauma of the scene, and that's because she's a good actress. Yeah, but the way that it was directed and written, it's just and like I said earlier, it feels more gratuitous and everything, especially with the cut shots back and forth. And it's also just a weird place to do those cut shots because you're cut shotting it to someone to basically what's his name, checking out another dude, and it's just that also feels inappropriate to me. Like why are you? Why there?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like that scene. Like that scene really pissed me off because it doesn't seem to be taking the gravity of what that scene is supposed to be seriously.
And also, like I'll also say, like the way, and this is where it kind of goes where I went back to earlier, where I was wondering if there are just too many characters in this movie, because it's not like we get much out of her after this. We may get like a montage or so, but we don't really go more into how she is healing from this traumatic experience. It's like this happened to her. We have maybe one or two scenes about how she's doing, but we're really not going to get too deep into it.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think there's too much for him. I do. I think you're 100% right. I think you nailed that. So we cut to a scene where Joe requires that Kimberly Elise's character Crystal goes to her house to get some paperwork, right, that she needed. So Joe drives her home with Joe's driver to go get those papers. Crystal goes upstairs, and of course her crazy boyfriend Bo Willie is like, yo, you're cheating on me. Who's that man in the car? I thought you said your boss was a woman, and all this other stuff. And of course the movie is just like, yeah, why would I bother explaining that it's my boss's driver? She's downstairs. But he starts freaking out. And they have this scene where he's like playing with the kids. And he's like, oh, maybe these kids are his kids. And then he grabs the kids and throws them out a window.
So again, this is a pacing issue, right? Like you just had one horrific scene, and now immediately you have another one, and this is when it starts to feel this is not when it starts to feel gratuitous. This is when it is blatantly gratuitous to me.
Right.
Like
it's not letting up.
Right. Like it's not like you need a break. You need a moment for the audience to decompress, right? Like if this was a traditional horror movie, right, you would have a scene like this, then you would have a cool down to kind of ramp the tension back up. And I'm not saying that's what this is trying to do. I don't know what this is trying to do. I think it's just trying to give as much. This feels like trauma porn at this point.
Yeah, because before he drops him out the window, it's like there's a whole scene of him beating her, and you see that the kids and Gilda here, and it's just like, okay, all right, well, fine, Tyler Perry, fine.
Yeah,
and look, I'm not saying that stuff like this doesn't happen. It does happen. And I'm not saying you shouldn't see it, or not see it, but I'm not saying that stories like this shouldn't be told.
Right.
But you got to give me a little bit of a break, especially when it is the two most horrific things that I can ever imagine happening to a human being.
Right.
sexual assault, and the murder of your children.
Yeah.
But all right.
Yeah, like
all
give me a fucking break, man.
Yo,
Like
fuck this movie, yo. I really don't like this movie. I really don't.
I have to tell you, like, we had joked for a long time, like, yeah, let's see Tyler Perry or let's see fucking Michael Ealy's crazy ass throw kids out of a window. It was horrible. It was horrible. Because it's not even, and not that we ever thought it would be funny. Like that's not the point, but just because it's such a fucking ludicrous idea, right? Like it's just insane. But the way it's presented in this movie, you don't have a moment, right? Like it is just like boom, boom, boom. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Because, and look, you're talking about trauma porn. Directly after these kids get murdered, we cut to this shitty cop being like, you think you might have deserved the rape? Like, come on, yo. Like, come on, yo. God damn.
So, are you sure you weren't drinking too much? Oh, did you sure? Are you sure you didn't lead him on? It's just.
Oh, and are we still in the same hospital? Yeah. Why don't we cut down the room? Because Nyla passed out after getting her abortion and they found her in the street. So let's have this horrible scene of her mother finding out that she was pregnant and she's crying and everything is horrible. This is literally right after it. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 fucking horrible scenes. Like, come on, man. Like you said, this is a pacing issue, which like, this is not how you write shit. And it like the trauma of those kids being killed is still going on. Kerry Washington walks out of that room to find this crystal right there and they explain it to her, right? It's all happening at the same time. So it's just, I'm sorry. I forgot. Then we find out Thandiwe Newton was raped and by her father. And we find out Whoopi Goldberg was raped by the husband, right? Like that's right after it. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's too much.
Also had an abortion with Macy Gray's character.
Right.
And also, and then you find out why Alice has such contempt for her, obviously biracial daughters. This was she was literally given to the white man to have kids.
Yeah, because because he didn't want her to have kids who were ugly and dark skinned like her. Is basically what they said. Which is fucked up.
So many great messages in this movie. I mean, wow. Like, I feel like I learned so much about being a Black woman from watching For Color Girls.
Right. Now, I mean, in fairness, those are the stories in the play. And it's not supposed to be presented as like, hey, this is all great. It's just the tragedies, right? But good Lord, dude, like, space it out a little bit. Like, that's like 6 tragedies in a row, all within like 20 minutes. Like, it's just nonstop. You don't really get a cool down until Felicia Rashad is like, she gets her like best, Claire Huxtable on and like tries to console, Thandiwe Newton's character. Like that's when you get a cool down and she's doing this weird thing about like, you need moonstones and Florida water or whatever. I'm like, I don't believe in any of that, but whatever swamp mojo bullshit you're talking about, but whatever. So like that's the first time you get a kind of a cool down. And you get to see, I guess Frank is trying to be like a good dad or like a good boyfriend when Juanita needs him, she's just like, hold me. And he's just like, okay. Like, I got it. But of course he fucks that up. Like soon thereafter, he's like, I gotta pack all my shit up. My other woman's calling. So, things just go fucking off the rails. Then we get back to Whoopi Goldberg's character, Alice, as she's trying to make, Nyla beg for forgiveness to whatever, God she believes in. And she starts like pouring, I don't know, some sort of oil and blood on her or whatever. What's that?
Motor oil.
Motor oil.
I mean, that's what that shit is.
I don't know.
God damn.
This is what goes on in your church? Is what y'all doing every Sunday?
No, not at mine. No, not at mine.
Yeah, y'all can wear jeans at yours. You go to a fake church.
Yeah, we go to hippie churches.
Yeah.
We go to a church. We go to church where it's just like, yo, just please come in.
Just please.
Come as you are. Just come.
For the love of God. So yeah, they get into a fight because as she's like grabbing her head like Elohim will save you, like she just like starts kind of using that as a way to kind of throw her daughter around a little bit, like it's Jesus. I'm trying to get the Jesus in you, and they just start fighting. And then Nyla runs to her dance teacher's house, Yasmin's, and she starts ringing the doorbell because she needs help. And you see Yasmin, who is still terrified from being raped, just sitting there with a knife because she thinks that it might be Bill coming back. That's the most you get out of that character post that rape, which is unfortunate because I thought she did a really good job in like portraying.
You get another scene with her at the end.
Yeah, the sort of wrap up scene.
Yeah, but that's we don't get any further introspection.
She doesn't get the closure.
She doesn't.
Right? She the closure is given to her.
Yeah, yep. Yeah. Which is a shame because I really would have loved for her to just see that dude on the street and just had stabbed his ass. Like I would have been way more.
Someone did.
Good. They should have done it twice. Fuck that guy. Then we see Kelly, played by Kerry Washington, helping Crystal as she's trying to scrub blood off of the sidewalk. Whether it's there or not is, I think, irrelevant. I think it's just, it's just she can't get it outside of her head that her kids have been murdered. Yeah, I would be inconsolable. I'd be inconsolable. They couldn't have gotten that nigga out in my house. Nope. No.
Yeah, Kimberly Elise is a very good actress, and she, I mean, I hate to say this, but she plays a victim very, very well.
She did. Yeah, she does. Because she was great. She's basically the same in Set It Off.
Yeah, she plays a victim. She plays a very believable victim, which it feels weird saying that, but I hope people understand what I mean. Yeah,
I mean, she has a vulnerability about her. I think that's probably the better way of saying that. She plays a great.
Yeah, she's a victim all the time. Like, that didn't feel right, but I'm too stupid to know to I don't know how words work.
So you're like, yo, I'm a real person, dog. Right. No, but she has a very believable vulnerability about her. She does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that just what happens to her with her kids is just horrible. And it's just so funny. Not funny, but it's really something else, like, to see that as a parent, because you're just like, I cannot fucking imagine. I just cannot imagine. Then you see Nyla run out of the apartment when she hears her sister coming home with some man. And, Tangi's like, yeah, you should have told me that $300 for an abortion. That's what you fucking get. Stop lying all the goddamn time. And then the dude is like, oh, who was that? She's like, yeah, that's my sister. And he goes, yeah, can she come over and join us? Ew, nigga. What the fuck? What kind of Pornhub white boy bullshit is that? Ew. And she was like, she's 16. He was like, and Tangi, of course, was like, all right, motherfucker, get out of my hallway. Get the fuck out of here. And then she says something that I did find kind of funny. And it's probably true. She was like, why do you like my little titties? Because they remind you of a little girl. What the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, yeah, good. He called her a crazy bitch. You tried to fuck a 16-year-old with her sister 2 seconds ago. What the fuck? She crazy? I'll never understand that. And if you watch barely legal porn and you're not a teenager, there's something wrong with you. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Ugh. I don't get it. Then we find out, Crystal tries to OD, because, she's just so distraught over the loss of her children. Totally understand.
Then we get some dance sequences where I heard there's a lot of interpretive dance in the stage play.
Yeah, I don't. Then it's not for me. It's not for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I don't like interpretive dance. I don't.
But
I just don't.
Why do you hate art?
I don't. I love art. I don't like interpretive dance art.
There was one TV show that I was watching once. It was like it had like a bunch of Asian people in it, right? And it was about like gangsters. And then at the end, the last episode, they do an interpretive dance. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, yeah. That show was on Netflix. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good up until that point.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, yo.
Yeah, I remember they did interpretive dance at like something before our graduation in high school, and like I was there with my mom. I looked over at her, and she was like, "Oh, this is good." I was like, "I hate interpretive dance." She was like, "I know," and she started laughing. Yo, I hate it. Yo, I hate it. Like the sun is rising. Like, all right. I get it. I'm not saying you're not a good dancer. I just
tell me.
Just do some choreography, yo. I don't like interpretive dance. It's maddening.
Yasmin gets a call from Donald, the cop, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to. Hey, could you identify this body? I think this guy might be the one that raped you." And yeah, it's him, laid out on a slab. He tried to do it again, and somebody stabbed him.
Good.
Good. There's nothing. Rapists deserve death, yo. I'm okay with that. I'm not a capital punishment guy, but vigilante justice is a-okay against rapists.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, again, like all of this is happening in this same hospital. Like all of this is going on. We once again see. We once again see this issue with Juanita being left again by Frank. This time he packed all his shit again. I'm like, nigga, you are not that good looking to be just like skipping town all the time. Like, relax.
Right.
So then Juanita gives this great soliloquy about, not letting a man walk away with all your stuff, all of who you are, the essence of who you are, right? Which I thought was a really beautiful speech or poem, and it's beautifully delivered. Like it really is. Like that would make me want to see the play for performances like that.
Yeah.
Minus the interpretive dance. So Frank comes back around, and then she was like, "No, nigga, get out of here." And he was like, "You right, I'm a piece of shit." And so then he bounces. Felicia Rashad's character, Gilda, has her big sort of shining moment where she's trying to help Crystal kind of get back on her feet. And she's like, "Look, you have to own a little bit of what happened to your kids," which is a really weird thing. But
listen. I get it.
I get it, but it was like, can you not say it like that?
Now is not the time.
Yeah. 6 years from now, we can have that conversation.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I feel like didn't her kids just die like yesterday? Do we need to have this guy? And she tried to commit suicide. It's like, do we need to?
Like they literally just pumped my stomach. Can we have
give me
this
a break.
Conversation a week from now?
She's like, no, we need to talk today.
God damn.
This is why Tangé like her ass.
Yeah. It's like, fuck you, lady. You old bitch. Check out my ass. So then we get a scene. Woo boy. You know what? I'm tired of talking. Micah, you got it. Go ahead. This is between your boy your boy Carl and Joe. Let me just sit back and
look.
enjoy.
All right. Look, Janet Jackson's character, Joe, she's not dumb, right? She, you can tell when a marriage is falling apart. Yeah. Or any type of relationship. If the people aren't idiots or not like so desperately in love with people, like you can tell, right? And, you got the nice little symbolism here of them, sitting on either side of this California king. And they're talking like, And she's like, hey.
Oh, hold on a second. Yo, that room is so big. They have 2 couches. That room is insanely large. Anyway, go ahead.
That's how the rich live, I guess.
Yeah, fuck, I wouldn't know.
Sure, Jay.
I only have 1 couch in my bedroom, obviously.
Oh, wow.
No,
okay.
I have a chair.
That's Jay. 1 couch in every bedroom and 2 Teslas in every garage.
I have a carport. Thank you very much. This is a poor man. It's a poor man's garage.
Nigga, give me $1.
No. No. I got too many bills.
Stop throwing your wealth in my face, you capitalist.
It's ridiculous.
So Janet Jackson's character is no dummy. She's like, look, you who are you seeing, right? You cheating on me with some woman.
Yo, he does something that's a real piece of shit statement.
And this thing was like, I swear to you, I am not cheating on you with a woman. Like,
Right. I've not slept with any woman since we've been together. Nigga, all right. Come on.
And she was just like, all right, well, what about our man? She's just straight up just because she's not stupid, right? She's like, well, what about a man? And this nigga's like, the fuck did you just ask me? And she's like, I see the way you look at them. You think I'm not paying attention? I see you looking at these niggas and they asses and shit. The pool boy in the Hamptons, my driver, the guy at the opera.
Yeah, she started like boom, boom, boom. It's like, oh shit.
Just to let y'all know, like when I saw this in theaters, it was this scene where people were just like, ooh.
Oh, I bet. Yo, no, there's no way there was not a lot of head snaking during this scene. Oh my God. I cannot imagine.
And he's like, you have no idea how much I hate coming in here with you being the breadwinner and I'm successful, but I'm not successful as you. So my inadequacies, I feel like I'm not the one that's making all the decisions because I'm the man and I'm supposed to be making all the decisions. And she's just like, are you gay? And she's like, how the fuck you gonna ask me a question like that? I ain't fucking gay.
I'll be holding hands and shit.
That's gay.
Like, nah, bro. I feel like you need to look at the Wikipedia definition. That's not the definition.
And she's like, how you gonna ask me a question like that? She's like, how you gonna marry a woman and then turn around and let another man bend you over? Which, by the way, shit, this is a real homophobic ass conversation.
Yes, it is.
Yo, but that's what I'm saying, yo. That's what I'm saying. How has he never been hit for being a homophobe? Like, yo, this is a wild conversation. It's a wild conversation.
Because, well, also remember there are those rumors about Tyler Perry's
of course
sexuality. So I feel like that may have something to do with it. But yes, this is when I was watching the scene, I was like, oh wow, I was like, we talked about LGBTQ issues so differently just 10 years ago because you could not have this scene today.
Oh, no.
The shit that Janet Jackson says, I was like, girl, I get it, but you riding a line. But you a homo, you got some problems.
But at the same time,
right? How sad is it that like we always say that he knows his audience, and I bet 19-year-old, maybe not 19-year-old TR, but maybe 19-year-old TR's friends are like, I knew it. Oh, faggot ass. Like, whoa. Calm down, best friend. Calm down.
First of all,
yeah, Myra was wild.
Even back then, we weren't saying that. Like,
no, that was when we were growing up.
100%. We were growing up. That was just the language. Absolutely.
Yeah. It wasn't right. I'm not saying it was. I'm saying it. That's what the language was. Right. Yeah. He was like, "How the fuck you gonna ask me that?" And she's just like, "How you gonna marry a woman and let another man bend you over?" And because she grew up in the 90s, so that's how she talked, right? And he's just like, don't nobody bend me over, bitch. And she's, oh, so you doing the bending? It's like, look. Okay, I don't walk around holding another man's hand, prancing down the street, skipping and switching and shit, right? That ain't me. That's gay. Okay. And she's just like, you talk aloud and saying nothing, bro.
Yeah, she's saying you saying a lot of shit and not saying anything.
You saying a whole lot without saying nothing.
And he's just like, look, what I'm telling you is that your husband is a man who enjoys.
He said, I'm a
penis.
man. I'm a man 7 days a week. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Right, that's weird.
like, yeah.
I'm a man 7 days a week, 23 hours a day. And for that 1 hour, I like putting my penis in guys' bums. That's it. What's so gay about that?
Yeah, I love that the idea of being gay in Tyler Perry's mind is like, is this, this isn't in the play, right? Like, he wrote this. Like, this is why
I have to believe that he wrote.
all of this at the end he wrote. Like, this is his, maybe this is him speaking through this character, right? He's like, no, I'll hold hands and all that shit. I mean, I'm a man 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, but at the same time, I enjoy a man's sexual company from time to time. Like, nah, bro, that's gay. That's gay. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Like, but you are. It's cool.
He's like, I'm not gay. There's no attachments, no fucking, just sex. And I'm like, wait,
no,
that's
the same thing. Fucking is no attachments. Like,
I was like,
Yeah,
dude.
you kind of got those wrong, bro. First, there's a lot wrong with this. One, it's a homophobic ass conversation on both ends, right? Two, the problem should be you're cheating on me, not you're cheating on me with a guy, right? Like that's not the issue. The cheating is the issue.
Well, okay, I will push back slightly on that, and I agree with you fundamentally. That's accurate. But this is supposed to be dealing with a specific issue of black men who are on the down low,
and that's what I was about to say.
Right.
Is this still prevalent in 2010? Right? Like, is this a stereotype that is
yeah, I think so. Though.
A thing.
I think
I don't know.
Well, maybe not 2010, but it was definitely a thing in the like early 2000s and late 90s. That was definitely a thing.
Right.
So I don't know, but I mean, I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask Tiara's friends who were like amped at this scene, like, how did they feel about it? They were like, yeah, no, this is it. This is it.
Well, all my friends are dudes, so I mean, they didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
But the black women in the movies in the theater, they were. I mean, there was a lot of hooting and hollering when Janet Jackson was giving her talk, but I mean, kind of what Micah said, this was pretty homophobic, especially since she kept using terms to describe black men who are in the closet, like down low and all this stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, with 2021 sensibilities, I'm like, this is it's
wild to see it in modern eyes.
Yeah.
Also, isn't he kind of like, she gets HIV because of this? And look, maybe I'm being too sensitive, but like, this feels like him saying that HIV is a gay disease, right? Like,
yes,
yeah, yes. Okay, so
that's kind of what I got from it, and I'm willing to admit if I'm being like hyper nitpicky about this movie, but like it feels like the whole down low thing was added, and with the down low thing and the HIV thing, I'm putting two and two together, and I feel like that is what he is trying to say.
Right.
Okay,
and
so
also, well,
just hold on one second. Like, I just want to point this out. There was a very famous book called "On the Down Low," a journey into the lives of straight, quote unquote, straight black men who sleep with men. That came out in 2005. The paperback.
Okay.
So it's not that far off in time. And like, that was a big controversial book. So, maybe like, obviously he's like maybe tagging into that, but yes, I think your larger point is correct. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tiara.
Crap. What was I going to say? Never mind. I forgot. Oh yeah. No, I remember. It's interesting, right? How Tyler Perry makes Joe randomly just start coughing. Mm-hmm. But it's clear that she has known for a while. Did she say that she had her husband followed?
She said her ex-husband followed.
Oh, her ex-husband.
And didn't
Okay.
do it with
Made
him.
it a point to say that she didn't do it with him.
So it's clear that she has trust issues and that she's known that her current husband has been cheating on her with men, and she clearly has some homophobic views towards that. So it makes you wonder, was she not getting tested regularly? Like why would she wait until now to have this kind of conversation? I don't know, it just seems so inconsistent with what she just said and the kind of character that Tyler Perry created for her.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I guess she had kind of hit the wall of like,
yeah,
in seeing her relationship, like, okay, this is dead. So I need to address this, I guess.
And one thing I do remember from when this came out was criticism about her character getting HIV. If I remember correctly, people dinged it because they felt like it was pushing a harmful stereotype about Black men who are gay, not being careful sexual partners, and then also blaming Black women for marrying men who are gay.
See, that to me that's weird, right? Like, yeah. I like actually both of those things are weird. Like, I mean, there is a level of truth to men who are on the down low, contracting HIV and then bringing it to spouses that they had, straight spouses that they had. I don't know how prevalent that is, right? Like I couldn't, I can't state a statistic on it. It's not like that happened a ton of times. Like, but we've all certainly heard those stories. But the idea that it's somehow Black women's fault, like, that doesn't make any sense. They were lied to. Like, come on, that's dumb.
Yep, that's the narrative that I think Tyler Perry continues to push in his movies like this, because it's women who end up suffering the consequences of these men's actions. Yeah,
no, they certainly do, but I just don't, like, I don't know what's in his heart. But I don't know if that is a narrative that he is pushing, or it feels that way through the scene. But it's certainly not Joe's fault. Like,
right.
Joe is a hard ass. Like, she's a person who's hard to everyone because she has trust issues, right? Like, she doesn't trust anybody, not just men. She's like, that's why she's so standoffish and kind of, verbally brutal to everybody. But she certainly didn't deserve or do anything to deserve Carl's actions outside of their marriage. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So he cheated. Full stop.
Yep.
Like, that's not her fault. I mean, that's like people blaming Hillary Clinton because Bill Clinton was getting his dick sucked. Like, what the fuck? Like, well, if she was there, then you could, like, don't do that.
It doesn't make sense, but people have those viewpoints, which is...
They do. Even to this day. Yeah. Pretty disgustingly misogynist. So then we get a scene at the end. Nyla's, oh, by the way, Joe is like, when I get back, you better be gone and you take your HIV with you. And she slams down like her medical exam results and her wedding rings. Like, get the fuck out of here. Which, good for her. Good. Then we see a scene of like everybody at a party for Nyla, as she's getting ready to go to college. And then we get this, like, all the principal women characters in the movie are, on the roof talking, about, they're all talking about, like, all the versions of I'm sorry they've heard over the years, from different men. Which is a pretty powerful moment. And they are also talking about how important their love is, and they do this, like, my love is too complex to be thrown in my face, and they do this, like, my love is blank. So yeah, it's this is their sort of, like, kind of commiserating on, like, the tragedies of their lives.
This is them exhaling, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Is that what that means? I don't know.
I don't know.
Tiara.
Don't worry. Sure. Yes, that's exactly what that means.
Thank you for speaking up for all black women everywhere. I appreciate it. Thanks. That's all we ask. It's not that hard. Overall, final thoughts on For Color Girls.
Never watching this again.
No.
I don't. I think. What did I give this? A 2 out of 5?
Yeah, you did. That's very positive.
I mean,
I'm gonna give
near like average. You think this is a very average movie?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5, only because I thought the cast did a good job here.
Okay, that's fair. I did not give a score. I'm gonna go with a 0.5 point out of 5. So
wow.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought the performances were great, but there's a lot of shit that drags it down. Like a lot.
So, Amazon has this movie for rent for $4. It also has the option to buy this movie for $5.
So you bought it?
I rented it.
No,
because
he didn't.
It's not worth that extra $1.
No, he didn't. He told me, he was like,
score.
I'm buying this.
That is how much I think of this movie. I would not spend one more dollar on it.
I downloaded the TV app and I was like, didn't we just say that it was on Tubi? It must have just gotten like taken off, because I was so mad when I went to Amazon. I was like,
yep. And they don't have it for free anymore either. I was pissed.
I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna pay the $3.99 because like Micah also saw that you could just buy it. I was like, I don't want this in my.
This is not worth my extra $1.
No.
No. When are you gonna pop in for a light Friday night to watch For Colored Girls? Like, oh, I can't wait. Oh, look, the weird rape scenes here again. Fuck. Yeah, no, I definitely rented it. I did not buy it. No, not ever. All right, that's it for episode 198. I promise you,
Christ.
I promise you, we will do something much lighter next week I
voted. Also, I would like people to say to know I suggested Lakeview Terrace, so we could have done that today.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Oh, okay. I would love to hear it.
Yeah. I have all the recordings on my computer.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry where I got it. I have proof. Don't worry about it.
This movie felt like it was 4 hours long.
It surely did.
Like I
watched it over 2 days.
I watched it in one sitting at like 11 o'clock on a Saturday. Like I started at 11. I was done around like 1:32.
I couldn't do that because I'm a procrastinator, so I had to watch it. And I watched the first hour in my lunch break, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the
today?
Fuck, yo? Yeah,
I finished it today.
And then I had a meeting, which I don't like going to, but I was really amped after the horror show that came around the 1 hour to 1:20 mark.
It's like, you know what? I'm okay with this. We should have a 2 hour.
Christ.
Yeah, no, this wasn't good, guys. All right, so we'll see you next year for another Tyler Perry movie. Look, just put out another one on Netflix. All right, give me another Ashtray Bitch. Those are enjoyable. They're bad, but they're enjoyable.
I need something that I can laugh at, man. Stop trying to be serious. Jesus Christ.
I think they're gonna remake it for Color Girls.
Good, they should.
Yeah,
they should.
Don't let a man direct it.
Yeah, with a woman
writing
it and a woman directing it. Yep. I think it could be quite powerful, but we'll see. All right, that's it for us, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye. God damn.
Yeah.
See ya. We'll be back next week with another preview episode. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.